tell you what, that right there, that's the move I've been sweating, the cutting of the plastics. Once you do it, you just can't go back. And on these Moto4s 1986, I can't find plastics anywhere, so it's you got one shot at it. But my OCD got the better of me, and I couldn't have one side pristine and one side all snapped up. So cutting them back, kind of a variation of race fairings, a little bit, leaving them a little squared, leaving them a little chunky. So I'll clean this up, we'll sand this down, get it repainted. So now I have the symmetry. And that was a tough thing to do, but oh boy, I couldn't leave this side and this side all snapped up. I haven't cut the rubber back. You saw me just drill a new hole to hold on to them. I don't know if I'm gonna cut this rubber in line. I'm just trying not to touch everything I don't have to touch because it's so old, but there's just not a lot of option. For this, I will probably end up drilling a hole somewhere down here and do it. I hate doing it, but zip tie to hold this so it has some structure. It does, you know, get bolted here and get bolted there, but that's gonna flop around. So gotta think of how I want to do this. Oh, it breaks my heart to do this, but I think it's going to be the right call. Little bit closer, so we're close. So I got over the hump of cutting the plastics. You know, I struggled with doing that or not doing it, but it's been done now. So we've sanded that down. It's getting its paint along those edges again. It'll go back on here. It's going to sit a little back further than these tabs on this replacement bumper that we've put on. So we'll find a way to secure it up front. I was able to find another one of these bolts. This is an M10 one pitch 14 millimeter. Couldn't find them at the Home Depot, couldn't find them at another hardware store. Can't find them in this length online. Shortest I can find is 20 millimeter, but 20 millimeter won't work because of the clearance with the bracket here to the frame. Fortunately, I had some of these bolts still on a chassis from another Moto4 I had my first quad. So I got those two bolts. I've still got to get bolts for the bottom here. These are M7 one pitch. They could be 20 millimeters, so I can get these online. They don't have to be 14. They were probably 14 or 16 originally, but they've got more clearance right there. So I need those. And I pulled some bolts off to get the bottom of this skid plate attached. So once I have that, that's probably almost the last of the missing bolts. I have M7 one pitch. Oh boy, 14 millimeter coming for a lot of these because the 12 millimeters that I had just a little short. Then I can get this back on, bolted on. Then I can get the front plastic on, bolted on. Then we'll figure out the front here. The longer bolts, we'll pull these plastics back on down here, and the remaining bolts I'm painting black. I'm going to fill these holes, so just have holes left on the back of the plastic. So we'll have that nice black and yellow contrast. I did SC1 the seat. That looks pretty nice. We'll get a few more seasons out of this. It's got some duct tape, but it'll hold, and we'll do a seat cover. So we are just about done. Oh yes, and the headlight. The right base, the 12080 base is coming in an LED. I got to probe this a little bit and find out what kind of voltage is actually getting to this light. The OEM light was a 45 watt bulb. It's dim, super dim, coming off the Chinese regulator rectifier. So it could be that as the culprit, it's not pushing enough, or something else. So we'll see. I did get this other bracket off from one of my spare quads. It's tipped down a little bit because the ears under here, they both, you know, they both align to each other, but the older one, the ears were bent up, and I didn't get these ones bent up, but I think I can tip the headlight up enough that it should all be fine. And you saw I had to cut this piece off, the wrecked headlight housing, welded on here. I'll give you another update while we're here. So the project we finished just before this, the 1989 YFM350ER, I had done some work back when there was snow on the ground, patching the exhaust with some exhaust putty. It held for a while. Yeah, just a while. Typically I get a season or two out of it on the Moto4 225, which is down at the farm. It's not here. This one blew out within a couple of rides. So today I ended up setting it up, and I basically cleaned it up, ground it all down. It split again, all on this side and the other side, ground it all down. And with my my gasless MIG welder, I put some vice grips on here, clamped it up, cleaned it up, took my time, got a weld through here, cleaned it up a little bit with the grinder. And this is just an engine, a high temp engine enamel going on here. We're going to try and reuse this because it is hard to find a replacement exhaust. The other thing we've learned, this is the other side all cleaned up. The other thing we've learned is there's a nice baffle that's in here that really does a nice job controlling the sound. Josh did get his hands on an aftermarket, and we tried it on, and we went out riding in a pouring storm the other day, but it was straight through, and it got cherry red, and it even had a spark or two coming out of that in the rain, which is scary. As it seemed like it burning up the baffle, the wadding. It got so hot that it melted off the end cap. That was fun. So we just had a flash thunder shower, and we rode through the whole thing, which was a ton of fun. Boots full of water. We have a new exhaust on the 350. We ended up, the work that I did on the back of it, we ended up blowing all the repair work out. So Josh got this other one, and we got some flexi pipe to make it easy to make the joint. And we had a few leaks, so there's kind of a putty underneath here, and then we wrapped it to kind of take some ting out, because this is a 1.5 inch OD, 1.5 inch OD pipe, and it's pretty straight through. Very straight through. What happened riding around, even in the pouring rain, cherry red in here. And what happened to the cap on the exhaust? Oh, here we go.
It melted.
We found this on the trail. We just melted the whole back of the exhaust off.
Now, we weren't riding soft.
No, we weren't riding soft. We were definitely slinging, eating mud. The whole thing just, wow.
It was good fun. That was great fun, actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen this before. So she's a little lean.
Understatement.
Yeah, understatement of the year. She's a little lean. Yeah, so, and the other thing is that wasn't as loud as a two-stroke. That was as loud as a Harley with a straight pipe and no baffle. So we gotta work on that. Every neighbor on the street will call us in. So we're working on the pipe. What are we now? About 2 months in since riding it. So 2 months in, we did find we had the main jet came loose. That gave us some trouble. We found that out. The repair work on the exhaust, that didn't hold. That got blown out. So we're reworking an exhaust. Was there anything else we've had to do? Were those the two things we've had to do since
Just
starting to ride it?
The jet and the exhaust.
The exhaust and a main jet that wasn't tight. Now, this is a 117 main jet in here. Factory is 120, so we're probably at least going to have to go back to a 120 as we're playing with pipes. The modern pipes just have more flow.
But all in all, I think we're dirtier than the machines are.
So another thing Jay got working today is the wood boiler. The wood boiler is now heating the pool. So it was 92 degree water coming off the wood boiler into the pool. The pool is 68 degrees, but a pump that does anywhere 1,400, 1,500 gallons an hour.
Is that what it is?
Yep, pushing off the heat exchanger. So for perspective, my hot tub is 98 degrees, and we're pushing into that pool 92 degrees.
Yeah.
This could be nice. Could be real nice.
You might have to go check it out.
Yep.
See if it's...
Yep, I might have to snorkel one of these things. There's a plastic end cap on the exhaust. And yeah, so, and to boot, it was still just not even obnoxiously loud. Like it was loud. It was loud. It was too loud. Welded this one up. We're gonna try and get this one back on. This is still gonna be a challenge. Maybe some flexi hose, something like that, to replace this part of the sleeve here that's gone. But with any luck, this will now hold after welding. And if it did, that Harbor Freight welder will have done a great job. I was also able to clean this up and get the model number off of it. Hard to see in the glare here. It is a YFM200dx muffler. Even stamped on here says approved US Forest Service, and has a spark arrestor.